Hi there, I'm Shar, and welcome back to the Simple Spells for the Home playlist. Today I am going to share with you my simple salt and water spell to absorb negativity in the home, and this is especially crucial right now in this global thing that we are all dealing with. And I have results and proof actually that this works. So let's get started with this. You can use any kind of salt that you want and whatever kind of jar. I have an old salad dressing jar. It doesn't matter. Not anything that you want to keep. Okay. Now I've got 1/4 cup of salt here, and I'm just going to pour that right in. Oops. I'm doing this on my tablet, so it's a little difficult. So just enough in the bottom of the jar. I stick with 1/4 cup because it's easy to measure out. So about that much in the bottom of the jar. And then all you're going to do is take warm water. And as you're putting the warm water in, you're going to think very hard. You're going to say to yourself, I am making this salt water to absorb negative energy in my home. I am making this salt water to absorb negative energy in my home. I have warm water here. I'm pouring that in to melt the salt. I am making this salt water to absorb the negative energy in my home. Stir it any way you want to, you guys. And if you feel like being more magical and adding your twist on it, by all means do that. You can add color to this if you want. But today I am making this salt water to absorb negativity in my home. So just keep stirring it until the salt starts dissolving. If you use a coarse salt, it'll take longer than a fine salt like the table salt. I am making this salt water to absorb negativity in my home. Make sure your water is warm too, like tap warm is fine. The salt will dissolve in the water, and that's what we're wanting. I am making this salt water to absorb negativity in my home. Okay, so after a couple of minutes of stirring, it is very, very clear now. And I've also put a piece of tape with the date on it here. Oops. Just because I have a few of these going around my house, and it's good to take care of it. So March 31st, 2020, I make this salt water to absorb negativity, to absorb COVID-19 fear, to absorb bad vibes, to absorb off energy. I make this jar of salt water to absorb negativity in my home. All right, so now all you're going to do is you're going to set this in a place that everybody walks by and just leave it there. It'll take about a month or so to evaporate and make crystals. So let me show you the results of the one I have now on the go. So here is my proof for you. I did this salt water February 28th. I guess I do this about once a month. And it had dissolved, but now there's salt crystals at the bottom. You can see on the side of it that the salt has taken the form on the side of the jar. But here on the inside, and this is something I just noticed the other day, you can see, if you can follow my finger down right in there, there is a ridge that goes right along here. And I will tell you, the tensions were high the other day in my house, and we were arguing. And the next day, I noticed this band of salt right around the middle. Absolutely crazy, because it's just nice and gentle, like it's just a single salt line. But yeah, there's a whole band of salt right in the middle that day. That tensions were kind of high in my house, and things have worked out and smoothed out since. Like we just had, it was a miscommunication. We needed to communicate our feelings better. We were feeling stressed from the input of the COVID-19, and so there is this band right here of where we spent the day arguing in my house. And so this really does help. And also keeping it in a public place where you can see it, it absolutely does help you to direct negative energy into there versus at somebody else. Now I'll show you where I keep mine. Okay, literally my kitchen altar is right here, my little light so you can see. I keep my jar right there, right by my smudge pot in the kitchen, right by my bay leaves, right by my pens and pencils. My jar is right there. Okay, so we have our jar right here ready to go. I am going to place it over on the altar, but I want to just show you the results of a couple of other spells that I have done this way. This is my I allow love to flow through me spell that I did for myself. It has come up and over the edge. Let's see if I can get in good lighting here. It's come up and over the edge of this jar. Okay. Another one I've done, this was a money spell to absorb negativity that I had towards money. So I put it in there, and man, there's like chunks of ice down there. I had big problems when it came to how I felt about money, and this had helped me work through a lot of blockages. I'm allowed to have money. There's enough abundance of money for everybody to have abundance of money. So just a couple of different, and both of these started out clear like this, in a nice clear jar full of that intention. I make this salt water to absorb the negativity in my home. All right, you guys, have fun doing this. It's a simple spell. Don't overthink it. Put your salt water on the altar or somewhere public, like in a general place, but not anywhere it'll get knocked over. And once your salt crystals start forming, tag me on social medias. I would love to see how yours is working. All right, you guys, I love you. Thank you for watching the simple spells for the home playlist. Do the little things. Little things build up to the big things, and this definitely helps. That, and it's really cool to look at because of science. Seriously. Ha 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 ha. All right, you guys, take care. I'll see you next time in the Simple Spells playlist.